In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create your own custom Chrome extension like the one you see here. I'm going to walk you through using cursor and NaN, which I'll walk through all the little details and notions to do that for the most part. So to start off, what we have to do is we have to go to new and create a new folder, and we are going to pin this to quick access, and then how do I rename this? Okay, let's do personal, add folder. Then we're gonna name our file AI Agent Chrome tool, and then bam, we are ready to move to cursor. So all we have to do is we have to click file, open up folder, bam, select this, and voila. So now basically this AI agent in cursor is going to create all our code, and then we can upload this file to Chrome, and then it will unpackage it and then create the tool. So pretty cool stuff. But first we have to head over to Claude to show our example Chrome extension. So if I were trying to make this tool, I would look around at other Chrome extensions. I found this one, which was basically the same premise as the one that I previously created, and I uploaded it to cursor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, can you recreate this to me with content, saying that we cannot create it, by the way, like you see. So, and now it's kind of to help it's cool that this is just asking for like background on the code and whatnot. So now what we can do is we can head over to cursor, we can paste all this code, boom, boom. And you might be asking like why I'm using cursor or Claude, and the reason is because I want it to basically do like a basic outline, so then cursor can really do like a deep dive on all the elements. And then we say, cursor, can you please create this Chrome extension with all the files, and just add on, improve, debug, and work with Chrome, please. And then for a prompting trick, we can say, goal, you are a senior dev and you are trying to build $1 million Chrome, and then boom, we have our prompting trick, and then we have what we want it to do. So boom, now it's going to generate, and now we're going to wait. And I think that these tools are just really impressive, because you can basically, this tool in particular has really helped me with creating content, because I would have to go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, hey, can you do this, can you do this, can you do this? And with this tool I can create those prompts within my working flow, and basically prompt better, because I'm actually seeing what I want to be done, and I can give it certain keywords like you saw previously so that you can actually prompt better, and it's faster because with the prompt that I did, I have to write out those prompt templates when the AI can just preload those, and then bam, you just have that ready to go, which is pretty impressive. And yeah, like 50 lines of code, like that would take me forever to do manually, so it's pretty impressive. But yeah, that's the reason why I love this tool so much. And I think that's the last file, if I believe so. Oh, we still have to wait. Okay, now it's doing content. Sweet. But yeah, the reason why I've created this tool is because of it just being really fast paced, and recently I've been really focusing on local models, and it is really hard to have a local model at your disposal because a lot of the times they take a lot of just room to work with. So I think you can use this tool, and then you can use if you don't really care about privacy, you can use ChatGPT all you want. But for this video, I'm going to really focus on using Llama because of the open source factor. And wow. Holy crap. This thing is coding so many stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Cursor is just an absolute beast. Alright, so I had to stop it there because it was absolutely coding like a beast. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into Google Chrome. Basically, we're going to click this puzzle here. Basically, you'll see this button called Developer Mode. And basically what you want to do is you want to click this on, and then you see Unload Packages. This is where you're going to build all your custom tools, and then we are going to go to AI agent. Might be in home folder. Okay, here it is. We're going to do that. Oh, so basically, we did not give it an image, so let's go back to Cursor. Say we don't need no image, so please fix it. And stuff like that happens all the time, where basically the tool is going to give you an error, and what you want to do is you want to just feed that error back into Cursor, and it will just debug and then edit and solve that issue like you see right here. And now it's just going to edit all that information, and we're just going to accept all of these. And then we are going to go back into the tool and unload package. Boom. And then we have our tool. So it's going to be our AI Creation Pro. It has A. And then look at that. It looks beautiful. So now what we need to do is we are going to go over here. If you have not used NAN and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so complicated, what you can do is you can pause the video right now, search with Google Lens. What you can do is you can be like, bang, boom, copy this image, go into Cursor, create a new file, paste this workflow and say, hey, can you recreate this for Chrome extension. And then we're going to look at this again. Please add content, description, and tone. So content, tone, and send to the hook mark. And then basically it's going to look at the image and then look at our prompt and actually recreate that, which is going to be super cool. Can you create this in all JSON? And this is important too. So if you're not familiar with NAN, it basically codes everything in JSON. So the only thing you need to understand JavaScript for is these sections, and you're like, I have no idea how to code this. All you have to do is say, copy that, what I did earlier, and just say, hey cursor, can you create the code for this in JavaScript? And most of the time it will actually create the code for you. If it's being a little bit buggy, you can just paste the code in here, and the NAN code generator will actually fit it for the module that you are working with. So anyways, we are going to create the JSON, and then voila. And this is probably gonna explode my computer. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that was a little bit weird. And then, wow. Holy. Yeah, lots of information. Okay, I think that's it. Now we're gonna copy that. We're gonna head back over to Cursor. We're gonna hit File, New Text File. Boom. Save all of this. And then we're gonna save as AI agent Chrome tool. Boom. Head over to NAN, click the plus sign, workflow, personal. And if you have no idea how to upload your Claude code to NAN, we're going to hit the 3 dots, import file. Should be in your downloads. All right, wonderful. And now that should not work. Oh, okay. So that's probably why it's it should not be saved in here. It should be saved as something else. So what we're gonna do is we are going to save this in downloads. And okay, so now it should work. Okay, and then yeah, because what happens is when you put a file that is in the Chrome extension but it's not actually being used, it will screw up the whole entire system. So that's why it's important to single them all out. And why is this not working? Okay. All right, we're gonna do this instead. So we are going to create our own webhook and have this baby running. So create your own webhook, do a AI agent, message a model. Boom. We are going to do 4.0 mini. Then we are going to do a edit fields where we are going to say name, tone. Boom. We're going to refer back to our Chrome extension, content, and then, oh shoot, and then describe. Boom. So as that information comes in from the tool, it will basically put it in tone, content, and describing, or describe, because you want it exactly as the tool, because if it's not it, then it can have errors and issues. So then we're gonna get a coding module, and then we're gonna clear this out, and then say create code for sending the to the tool, and voila. And then now it should, okay, so this is a lot of information. Okay, yeah, it is. Sometimes the AI models will do that where it will just go way over the top. Like, this is just too much. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're just gonna ask JavaScript, create some code to send to Webhook on tone, content, and describe. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a webhook, or no, webhook response. All right, perfect. And then what we're going to do is we are going to test this bad boy by copying the URL, then going back into cursor, say, hey, I have a webhook to N8N. I want you to have it send the tone, content, and what I've noticed is that when you are using cursor, sometimes it will use the @ symbol, and it will actually screw up with your webhook. And I like to add webhook at the bottom to make sure that it's using the right webhook, because when you blob it together, sometimes the AI model can get super confused. So we're gonna let this cook and let the agent think this out. But the cool thing about the agent part of Cursor, which is a new feature, is that the agent is kind of just analyzing the code and actually updating everything and actually working more agentically, which is, I think, a super cool feature, because when I had to use Cursor, I would have to, kind of use it like how you would use GPT, where you would have to use just like prompt after prompt. But now with the AI models being just so smart and consistent, it can just really fill that gap and actually like debug and just really work on its magic for the most part. So voila. Alright, sweet. That is sick. Wow, it actually created the prompt for me. What the heck? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up this AI model and actually paste in the message that it gave to us, which is, pretty sick. Alright, so apparently that was for Cursor. I thought it was a prompt for the AI model. Gosh dang it. But, we're just going to say create content for YouTube and help the user with its goals and projects for the most part. And then we're actually gonna use this tool right now and say, hey, can you help me on this AI in N8N, please, for YouTube vid. And then before we do that, we have to turn this on because we are using the production webhook. So it will only work if it is on the production webhook. Bang, post this in, and generate content. Voila! All right. So now what we can do is we can copy this, and you can use it in Figma, you can use it in Notion, you can use it in the YouTube description. But that is the video, guys. And you just saw me create a SaaS within less than an hour, and it just shows how powerful these things are for the most part. Let's look at the execution to see if it worked or not. Let's refresh it, because sometimes these are just slow. What the heck? All right, so now we're gonna test this because I'm a little bit confused on how it is creating content. Bro, that is actually sick. So I think what happened is that the cursor, I think, created AI agent that works too well. Let me look at my previous execution. Maybe it is working with this. Hold on. Okay, what the heck? I am so confuzzled. Alright, so I guess my conclusion is that the tool works, but I think it's using OpenAI's systems and the API key, if I had to guess, because it is being super interesting. Maybe it's just not loading on the execution side. But I mean, if it works, it works, right? So create content on Beast and create the next bid with title as well. Okay, so I think that's the reason why the saying the webhook is unavailable. So what we're going to do is we are going to go back into this, get the production URL, say, hey, the tool is being weird, use this webhook, and then link it. All right, so now we're gonna try this again. Let's see if, okay. All right, let's see what is going on. Webhook node is not correctly done. Okay, so we are going to go to respond to webhook, and we are going to come with respond. Okay. Okay. So now we are going to say create YouTube vid OpenAI, please. And right, and then let's look at executions again. Let's test this one more time. Let's go back to executions. Okay, interesting. I don't know why it's not uploading the other things. So it's this bugger that is not working. Set response to okay. Create a YouTube vid. Save. What the heck? Maybe it works better if we do it. So I guess what happened is that it has this placeholder that is basically, messing with the webhook. So we're gonna have it only use the webhook now. Have it edit that out, and kind of just remove that. And you're seeing me work on this problem in real time. So yeah, hopefully this really helps you understand how I problem solve. Oh, that's cool. It just searched the web. Like, that is just so impressive. All right, so we should have fixed that small error, hopefully. So we're gonna go to this tool again. We're gonna say, hey, create a vid, please. And then it's going to generate content. Execution failed. So let's refresh this and see what the executions are saying. It looks like it's not triggering the webhook now. So we're going to go back into cursor. It's saying it's not triggering the webhook. Please look into this and take my message and feed it to 810. And then, if it keeps having issues like that, you always want it to feed it the URL. So webhook and unlink it. So the webhook isn't responding. So it looks like that is our issue. Sometimes, Claude can, or Cursor can, mess up on my end. So that's always why you want to just debug, kind of just, question what is working, what is not. So, yeah, obviously this tool takes a little bit of time to build, but it is well worth it. So it's doing post requests and not get requests. If you don't know webhooks, basically what happened is that the webhook is designed to get information, but Cursor is thinking of a post, which is like, kind of Cursor's fault. But sometimes like the AI makes mistakes and you just have to align it, right? So, yeah. But, vibe coding is like a process of just trial and error and just reconfiguring it and just trying to make it work all together, which is really important. Success. All right, sweet. And then, it's gonna give you just insight on, how to fix it, which is super helpful. So we are going to test this one more time and stop. because we have to thread the content in to basically get that code working and running. It's taking its time though, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's look back at executions, and voila. So that's a good thing because now the system is getting responses. And now what we're going to do is we are going to adjust this coding module and ask it to basically generate code based on the previous responses, which is why this has been a pain in the butt. Basically, if you're trying to debug this, I recommend you debug it in Editor, especially for webhooks. That has really helped me out, and all you have to do is say, and then feed it some code, and then copy this, and then boom. Then it's gonna generate and then replace that code. So now everything should be inputted and working together. So we're gonna save, then we're gonna test this tool, say, hey, create me a YouTube vid, please, on OpenAI. And then it should take its time, and we should get a response. Okay, so it is showing. Oh, so it did work, which is good. Probably cursor is the reason why it is not working. So, look, here's our answer. Now we're gonna say, and now we're gonna update the, because it's working. Cursor is just not showing it in the UI. So the work, so it's working, but the UI is not showing the answer. Can you please fix this? And then the agent is gonna be like, okay, let me fix this. And this should be the last thing that we need to do. So, but yeah, I mean, it just goes to show just how powerful these tools are. And I love this tool because it just saves me just so much time, because they did this study on Chrome extensions, and it showed that when you have a tool like that, you can really hone in and just really focus on your skills, because you're not getting distracted, you're not switching tabs, you're not like asking ChatGPT to give you answers on your phone, and then it is just like your little AI agent that really helps you, especially with like YouTube content. That's where I've found the most help with. And even though like this is like a really simple automation, like it does wonders, especially if you use RAG and you upload all your information. It's really beautiful to see. So yeah, it's kind of just a super tool. And the reason why I created this tool was because of Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great if I had ChatGPT just in the palm of my hands? So, but yeah, we should have a final working result. We are going to go into here. We're going to refresh it so everything checks out. And it's doing a couple more responses, which is good. Okay, create to get and then we wait. And then as we see, it's working in the background. And it looks like it actually timed out. All right, so that should give us enough time so then, everything should work together. Because as we can see, like the tool is working. It's just finishing earlier than expected. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, hey, create YouTube vid on OpenAI, please. And then, it's going to take its time. You can hop over. We see the tool running. Oh, okay. So we're going to try that again because this disappeared. And then boom, it worked again. So say, hey, create a YouTube vid on Beast, please. And now, if we don't switch tabs last second, everything should work. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Beast got an error on the web. What is up? Everything is working in N8 and it's not showing UI seconds and should work. Can you problem and solve step by step? Normally when you say solve by step, it should solve the problem. So in that case, we might have to basically format the messages in our tool, or maybe Cursor can fix this. But this should be the last thing that Cursor needs to fix. Okay. Because all we really want is just the text to show in the tool. Like, in this video, you can really, refine it however you like, but it's just important to show that, the tool works. And a good debugging trick that I've learned is that when you have it, show the raw JSON, you can kind of just see if it's being thread through the tool, and that has helped me a ton. And it's just a small fix, but it really shows if the tool is getting the webhook or not. And you can just delete the raw JSON functionality pretty easily. So that is a trick that I've learned with debugging. Most of the time, custom tools like this take 1 to 2 hours. So, we've made some good progress for the most part. What the? Okay. So now we are going to test this tool once again. That's super dope. So I think the issue is that the content is not being formatted in proper JSON. So we're gonna say we're actually gonna do this trick that I learned. So we are going to copy all of this code and say create some code so that it can, and then bam. And all I did was shift corner. I would just retry. Okay, let's do a new chat. Create JSON. So, all right. So we're gonna go back to this. We're gonna go to this code module. We're going to delete all of this. Boom. Oh, that's why. No, okay, that is my fault. Okay, bam, save. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do executions. We're gonna try this one more last time. Create a to embed on AI. Create content. This should pop up. Okay, so there was an error. So now we are going to debug this. No, wrong one. Debugged it. What? Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. Alright, sweet. And then what we're gonna do for this. Boom. Then it should get a better idea of what we want it to create. And then boom. Save. Try this again. Executions. Okay. So it did work. Actually, let's do this. So we are going to grab all this. All right, so this is day 2 of working on this mess of a tool, but I actually did it correctly offline. And basically, we're gonna open up this tool and we're gonna say, hey, create some content on AI, and then it's gonna create that content. You see it's running in the background. And it says it's unable to generate content, but as you can see, it's working. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the debug button, and actually the content is right here. All you have to do is copy this, and then boom, you're ready to roll. And voila. And then basically, you know, you can take this content and actually you know, prompt it to remove the backslashes and asterisks within the prompt. And you know, you can do that by you know, prompting and whatnot. But I wanted to show you this mess of a video to show kind of just how I solve problems, and you know, how to really create these super tools, because you know, sometimes, like when you're working on a project like this, it's chaotic. You know, it's a lot of trial and error. Like things are not going to go your way. So all you have to do is just trust the process, and really just, you know, do good prompting. You know, make sure that NaN and cursor are on the same page. And yeah, that's the video. So I would, you know, really just cater to, you know, prompting the heck out of this to remove asterisks and whatnot. Because if you go to my original tool, where it's a lot more cleaner, you know, you can just say in Pro. As you can see, it looks a lot cleaner. That's because, you know, this took me multiple hours, but I just really wanted to show you guys how to create this tool and how to basically, you know, have it within your workflow. Obviously, you know, you can prompt it a lot better by just going super in detail with it. But you know, I think the beauty of these tools is that they're just so new and complicated that you can just really just go in and above and just really prompt, all of this. And I'm actually gonna leave this prompt in the description so you can, use this and actually have it be a lot more proficient. Um, because I ran into just so many errors, and this video is going to be really raw and authentic, and it's going to be all over the place. But you know that's the beauty of recording mega giga videos like this, is that it's always going to be chaotic and a mess for the most part. So hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, if you use these tools, for sure you're going to be a powerhouse when it comes to content. And then lastly, I'm going to show you the tool that I personally use and what I use it for the most. So this is a Figma that I created on the beginning of Infinity. Super amazing book. But we're going to use my tool that I use personally to basically create content and show you guys why this is so valuable. So create. All right, as you can see, create content on the book Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. Make a short cover on why good theories and ideas are so value driven. So we're gonna create this. Should take a couple of seconds. Bang. All I have to do is copy this, paste it, then voila. Super powerful, because I am terrible when it comes to grammar and writing. So having a tool like that within your own workflow is just super powerful. So I hope that you get the gist of why you should use the tool in the first place, and what it is, and why you should use it. And I think those two things are super important, because a lot of the times people will yap about what it is, but not really the why behind it. So I hope you gained a lot of value from this video. I'm going to put the prompt in the YouTube description, but see you in the next one.